G'day everybody, welcome to Home Gym Hypertrophy. Been a little while since the last garage gym walkthrough, but I'm happy to say there's been a fair few changes. We've had at least 3 new machines come in, one of which was a cardio piece, 2 bodybuilding pieces. So we'll do an update, bit of a walkthrough. I'll talk briefly about each piece, why I have it, what it's here to achieve, and then maybe talk a little bit about the new pieces that just came in yesterday. Currently intending to do a more detailed walkthrough, particularly on the Nordic Track treadmill. I don't post a lot of cardio workouts because it's pretty boring just watching somebody run on a treadmill or ride on a bike. But we'll talk about the machines themselves in a separate video. So say it's just an update, have a look at the current structure, setup, talk about next steps. I think I'm pretty close to being done for machines, although I've said that many times in the past. So upcoming year, maybe some cosmetic changes to floors and walls and things like that. In case, let's flip this around and we'll have a look at what we've currently got. Okay, guys, we'll start off with a wide shot. My gym's a little bit different in that thankfully I have a very patient wife who does let me sort of spill out onto the back patio entertaining area of sorts, because there's not enough room in the gym. So as we move closer to the outdoor kitchen, we'll start off with my wife's favourite. This is her glute blaster, hip thruster, glute developer, whatever you want to call it. It's a copy of a Nautilus design, I believe. This is one of the new machines, and it's actually one of my new favourites. So I'm somewhat of a fan of the high to low row movement, low to high row movement, to sort of hit those upper traps, upper back, rhomboids. I found this is actually a Chinese import, which I got very, very cheaply because that chest pad you see there is actually an add-on. That specifically is an APX chest support pad. So the original machine without the pad, the loading profile actually sucked because there was nothing to brace against. So you'd be trying to do a, low to high row with a lot of weight, and you just end up yanking yourself forward. But I recognised that when the seller put it on. I went and had a look and worked out that, yeah, if all I could do was install a chest support pad, which literally only required an arbor drill bit, and thankfully the, adjustable bars there don't upset the groin area or touch it when you're using it. You put your foot pegs there, and it really did transform the way this machine feels. If I had to say what it most resembles, it feels a lot like Precore's version of a low to high row, which I'm a big fan of. So that's actually that's probably one of my new favourite machines. Here, they don't make this anymore. This is relatively new. This is the legacy version of what was once called Megatech, but was part of ATX. So this is an ATX lever squat. In addition to being a level squat, I also added these two 30mm plate storage holders, and they've just covered them in rubber grips. So now it also does a really good job of being a Viking press. So that's a really nice 2-for-1 sort of machine. I've had this one for ages. This is my favourite. This is a no-name brand, seated, chest-supported isolateral row for hitting the mid-back and the lats. Love the fact that it's got the handle in the middle and the isolateral, the chest support pad, really good to brace against. Unfortunately, the dogs had a crack at the leather, so that's unfortunately that's taped at the moment. I do need to get that reupholstered. But the load profile on it is amazing. I much prefer this to the Hammer Strength ISO row because, one, it's seated. Two, as you can see, it's a very, very minimal profile machine. It's not particularly wide. And being that 4-point linkage, you can sort of see when you start, the plate horn is almost completely parallel to the moment arm. So it's heaviest in the stretch position, and the weight backs off ever so slightly as you get to a full contraction. Similarly, unfortunately, the dogs also had a bit of a crack at the corner of my Synergy branded seated chest press. It's got a 100 kilo stack on it. Very similar to like a pre-core Palladium style chest press. Good feel, nice and smooth. Lucky enough, sorry, I should go through costings as well. Almost all of my gym, unless I specifically call it out, are Facebook Marketplace finds. So the hip thrust was, I think, 200 from a gym that was doing a complete remodel. The low to high row, I think, was about 400 from a gym that was moving to another area. This one I also got for 400, 450 from memory. This was from a physical therapist who bought it and then realised that his clients weren't into strength training so much. This one I also got from the same gym as that one. So thanks to Mo, who owns that gym. This one I think I got for about 200 off the top of my head. This here was from Sid Darley Fitness. I think it used to be called Kinetics Facebook group. I got that for, I think, 250 because it was covered in rust. But a little bit of vinegar and a wire brush later, rust was all gone, and obviously I've given it a black and red spray paint to be on theme with the rest of the gym. Armortech 9-bar cube. I have gotten rid of some of the specialty bars. I pretty much train exclusively for bodybuilding and powerlifting style training, more so powerlifting, because I don't really have the diet discipline for bodybuilding. Really, really old, shitty trap bar. I'll probably will replace that at some point. Handles there from the sled. There's a Iron Edge safety squat bar there, which I'm actually really happy with. It's one of my favourite safety squat bars. It does have the proper offset camber between where the bar actual angle is versus the handles. So it is modeled correctly. There's an easy curl bar there at the back. And I think that's it for those ones. Like I said, some of the specialty bars. This here will show. So some people who've been following for a while might have known that I originally repurposed the original ATX jammer arms into a belt squat. Well, now, as a much better replacement to my home job, ATX now sell this rack-mounted belt squat. But in an effort to not have to move stuff on and off a rack all the time, I've just used a short upright there at the back as a permanent mounting spot. One thing with my rack, you can see I have the plates on the inside. They don't interfere with me squatting or working out, because I do squat off of the front of the rack. It is a half rack. It's an ATX 80mm half rack. So the belt squat is built in. This is a beautiful belt squat, super smooth movement. And when I don't want to use it, I literally just flip it up out of the way there, and it just sits there nicely. Also storing my safety bars there at the back, just in the rack uprights. Little prototype machine in there, which unfortunately I can't show you because it is currently under development with an Australian equipment maker. Not sure if it'll make it to market, but hopefully it does. But there is the half rack, right? And you can also see, if you look inside carefully, that is a World Fitness Pro Smith machine. I did a separate video hyperlapse of where I actually bought that as a separate unit, and I took the base off, and thankfully it was exactly the same width as my rack. So I literally just drilled that into the rack there with a couple of high tensile bolts there that you can see. So yep, rack mounted Smith machine before it got popular, and every 3x3 manufacturer started doing it. The new ATX folding dip bar, awesome piece of kit, super sturdy. ATX used to, on their pieces, give you a rubber, a nylon washer separately. So they've got that. But they also have found a way to incorporate the washer into the nut head for equipment. So that's a nice change. At least with this piece, I'm hoping it applies to all their other accessories. It didn't come on the chest support pad. That's just the old style one with a separate nut, but maybe that's going to migrate into the rest of their pieces. 2 sets, ATX branded, thin, mag collar. Another mag collar there. They're the older style pro mag collars. So my stuff's nice and secure. Always use the safety spotters when I'm training, unless I'm on the Smith machine. The Smith machine does have the spotters that you can slide up and put on the hooks there. So yeah, why half rack? Like I said, I train sort of power building, if I had to describe it. I'm okay as a power lifter. I do have a national qualifying total in the Masters men's category. Thankfully, the older you get, the lower the totals get. So if I just stick with it, eventually I'm sure as I get older, everybody else will either age out of the sport or die. But yeah, getting okay with that. So that's how I mostly train, is for powerlifting style movement, hence squat, bench, deadlift never comes out of the program. But the rest of the time, I prefer, rather than 3 million accessory bars, which I did do at one point, I use a lot of the bodybuilding style movements to stay healthy and still get the reps and sets in. Okay, normal barbells. We have, so there was an aluminium silver kids bar there. I do have, my youngest is 14, my oldest is 22, so they come in here and play around a bit. There's a 15 kilo women's bar. The middle one is a ATX 28.5 millimeter CrossFit. It's now my beta bar. Silver one is a Force USA competition style weightlifting bar. The blue one is Loaded Lifting, which was a Perth company who I think might have actually gone under now, but it is a 29 millimeter IPF spec bar, which I use to almost exclusively now, since the only sport I compete in is powerlifting once or twice a year. Also have a Iron Edge cambered bench bar, very, very nice bench bar. Also use it for seal rows. Bit of wall control there for some knickknacks. I did clean up the gym a little bit, so a lot of the extra handles and bits and bots. So there's a boxing bag, which I just mount there, but that's my wife that uses that. Some overhead rings on a wall ball target. And then these two drawers here, I've got, this is my belt, squat belt. There's an easy curl bar attachment, which I'll talk about in a minute. Some hanging ab straps, my wife's weightlifting belt. And then just the Chinese knockoffs of all the Rotate family of handles, which do get used quite a lot. Just as a nice place to keep them out of the way when I use them on the lat pull down. So that's says Barbarian line. Again, Barbarian line became ATX in the rebrand. So Barbarian line and Megatech both became ATX. Was going to upgrade this to the Megatech, to the new ATX pin stack Triple X gym to add some jammer arm capability. I may still do that, but it would require some repositioning, because the jammer arms that come off the side right about here might impact on the getting to the barbells or getting to the rower. In any case, it's not an urgent need. It would be a nice to have. As far as the jammer arms go, obviously with the Smith machine, I can do military press, incline press, flat press variations, RDLs. Can also use the belt squat for RDLs and rows and all that sort of stuff. And then for overhead, I've got military press on the Smith machine. I've also got standing Viking press over there. So there's not a huge demand for the jammer arms. Again, it would just be a nice to have. I'm really endeavoring to try to have minimum 3 variations for each muscle group: 1 dumbbell variation, 1 barbell variation, and a machine variation of almost everything in here. So that's why I have so many machines. Cardio piece. So we've got the Armortech. Now this is a 2-for-1 combo. So there's an Armortech ski erg and an Armortech rower, which come together. I think at the time of me filming this, you can get the pair of them for $1,600, which is quite a bit cheaper than either of the original Concept 2s that they're based off of. And they feel exactly the same. I have owned both Concept 2 ski erg and rowers, which I sold at one point, just because of COVID and the prices were great. This is one of the new pieces. Now I am ecstatic with this. As you can see, I got this from Kinta Fitness. here in Perth. So if you're in Perth, check out the guys at Kinta Fitness. Great people. Ex-military defence member, Special Forces guy, Joe Paps. I think his brother's a bit of an influencer. And then also a couple of CrossFit box owners that work with him there as well. So this is I'm sure you recognise the style. It's sort of emulating a hammer strength sort of aesthetic, but it is a combination seated hamstring curl leg extension. So the guys were, this was an ex-demo model that they were getting rid of. Got it for a really, really good price on Facebook Marketplace. So really happy with that. I do have the tough hook back there and a weight vest for the times when I might want to take the dogs for a long walk and just throw the weight vest on to make the walk challenging for some cardio. Got the sled. Not really much cause for the sled anymore, but the wife won't let me throw it out. She loves it. So we do have that. Some of the wall balls, slam balls there. Then if ever keen to do a CrossFit style workout. Got the multi-pad there from Gym and Fitness. It's a copy of the AbMat Preacher Pad. Really, really good for using the functional trainer there to replicate some, I like it for horizontal bicep curl, like Atlanta style mimicry. You can use the pad for all sorts of things, but it's a nice little preacher pad. This is one of my favourite design functional trainers ever. For a long time, I had a Tough Stuff knockoff six-pack trainer, but I was so lucky. This was a little bit more expensive on Marketplace. This was $600, I think it was. But it's an Australian brand, Integrity Strength. They don't make this model anymore. The closest parallel in the US would be like those, I forget the brand. There's a functional trainer, but basically these things can articulate all the way in and out. It is a 1-to-4 ratio, which would be a problem, except the weight stack actually goes all the way up to 150 kilos. So absolutely heavy enough for anything arm related. Your tricep pushdowns, face away, bicep curls. 37 kilos a side. So I don't use it for chest presses, but if I did as like a third movement, it would be okay. I do use it for cable flyers as a third movement. Here I've got, again, I try to keep most of the plates on the machines because I'm lazy and I don't like carrying the weight around the gym. So you can see wherever there is a plate loaded machine, there's already weight close by. For knickknacks, I do have this little storage rack that I made up to clean up the actual power rack itself. So you can see I've got a bunch of plates there ready to go. That torsionator is for whenever I want to do unsupported sort of T-bar row work, and those basically get used on the T-bar row there immediately at hand. A couple of FitTech handles, which I mount to the safeties when using the belt squat, which makes a pit shark. If you check out my Instagram, you'll see me doing that. And then some Bulgarian, single leg rollers there at the back, which I only pull those out whenever I stick those on a jammer arm and on a safety, and I'll use that for Bulgarian split squats or back extensions. And then there is chalk allowed in this gym. I have a nice chalk bowl there. Keeps the dust away when not in use. So it's a nice little accessory that keeps all the knickknacks clean and tidy and off of the rack. Then over here, a couple of more of the serious machines. This is set up for hack squat at the moment. When you fit that seat back, there's a metal plate underneath with some grip there for your legs. So that's in hack squat configuration. This pad does flip up to be a leg press. About 400 kilos in total. I can't lift 400 kilos. I can do about 310 for a set of 10 in leg press mode, so plenty of room to grow there. There's the ProForm 22-inch screen bike. It lives there when I'm not using it, but it's got wheels on it, so I just lift it up and pull it out when I want to ride the bike. This is the other new machine that rocked up yesterday, which is the Nordic Track. I think it's called the Nordic Track Ultra LE. Now, the reason I got this is because Nordic Track have recently updated all of their treadmills with more powerful motors. Previously, their top model had a 3.6 continuous horsepower motor. The new ones with these mega screens. I think the new 1750 has like a 20-inch screen or a 16-inch screen, and the new 2450 has like a 22-inch screen. Now so this here retails at about $2,000, $3,000. I got on Black Friday sale for a really good discount, so less than $2,000, which is really good. This has the 3.6 continuous horsepower motor that the top models used to have. So it's got the powerful motor, fast and incline decline. But the other reason that the 2450 is like $5,000. So you're adding $3,000 for a 22-inch screen. Now you've got this iFit sync, and so with that, I've got a little tablet there, a little Samsung tablet, which I've connected to this 36-inch television through Samsung's, what do they call it? Samsung DeX, like a desktop operating system. But you can see there, you just bring up iFit on this TV. This TV is on a pivoting arm, right? So all I do is when iFit's loaded, I move the TV directly in front of the treadmill. You can pair them together, and then you're watching the TV. The TV does line up nicely with this, but with that iFit sync button, this is where I think you're saving a bit of money, because all of the money in the up-rated models is just for this bloody screen. The 1750, like I said, there's a 16-inch monitor, 22-inch or 24-inch, and the 2250 for like an extra $3,000 versus a $300 television that you just move in front, and then this will pair to that. And so whenever the trainer runs up a hill, the treadmill inclines automatically. And whenever he slows down to a walk, the treadmill will slow down automatically. Or if he runs, it'll speed up. Like that sync is a really, really cool function for me, because personally I hate running on treadmills. So the ability to watch somebody who's running through the Alps, the camera set behind them, and they actually have the treadmill automatically incline and decline and speed change. The bike does it as well, which actually makes cardio half interesting. So I find that very, very interesting and a good money saver. There's the GHD. Now, I might even insert a little image up here, but that's one of the original ATX 80mm jammer arms, which I've repurposed and put some roller pads on it and some weight. And so you can actually face the other direction and make it like a not quite a full reverse hyper, because it doesn't swing all the way through, because that stops it. But if you do them strict reverse hypers, really good way to toast your erectors and your glutes. And I'll show, just by sticking that eyelet on it and then using an easy curl bar, this actually feels almost exactly, and I'll stick a video up here in the corner, like the hammer strength style plate loaded preacher curl machine. So that's 3 uses, at least out of the GHD. Right, so there's like I said, the entertainment center. Got a sound bar there. Usually I'll watch YouTube workout videos content here. Use the Google spreadsheets for my workouts. That's actually tools. All my tools are in these cabinets here. So this is still a functioning garage. Little fridge there for drinks. And then we have the dumbbells sets, which has been here for a while. It starts at 3 kilos and then goes up in 2.5 kilo increments, which would be about 5 pound increments in the US, up to 35 kilos, which would be about 70 pounds or 75 pounds. And then from there, it's just 5 kilo increments up to 50 kilos. So 110s, that would be in the US. And then the kettlebell set on top. That is starting at 8 kilos, or what's that, 18 pounds, and then going up to 24 kilos or 53 pounds, 2 of each kind. So to me, that's, I know kettlebells do go heavier, but that's as heavy as I would ever use them for. Kettlebells are mostly for warm-ups. And yeah, and then benches wise, there's one competition spec flat bench, obviously, which I use for bench press, incline bench. These two, I will probably still upgrade those this year. ATX has got some very new, nice sit benches. So again, I won't be adding new. Those will come out, the new ones will come in. And finally, the air bike. So that is about it. All up, I think we're looking at, again, power building, 4 days a week, cardio 2 days a week. So that's sort of the setup team. Squat, bench, deadlift, main movement, supported by bodybuilding accessories all around the place. And then for the 2 days cardio, I really only mostly use the treadmill and the bike, but my wife prefers CrossFit style training, so that's why we've got the rower, skier there as well, and this air bike. So yeah, it's a 2-stall garage, or 2.5 really, because the door stops here, but you've got that extra couple of meters for the cabinetry. And yeah, there's the current garage gym update. So if I didn't say it before, guys, Home Gym Hypertrophy, thanks for coming and having a look. Hit subscribe, smash that like button, helps the algorithm, helps more people find the channel for people that want to do their own home gym setups and a little bit of DIY. So I hope you like the video. Thanks, everyone.